Okay, so my name is Paul. I'm here from ZenGengo. ZenGengo is a fairly new company, and basically we were formerly called Teacher Tools. Some of you may know us as Teacher Tools Digital, and we rebranded as ZenGengo a few months ago. And our mission basically is to allow teachers to create and administer engaging and effective digital language learning activities in minutes. So ZenGengo is quick and easy. It works on any device, so it's cross-device compatible, laptops, mobile phones, tablets, etc. It can be used in a variety of teaching and learning situations. It covers all 4 skills, and it is built on sound pedagogical foundations, which I will discuss in a moment. So as you all know, language teaching in the 21st century takes place in a variety of different contexts. Even before COVID came about, many of us were using technology to enhance our students' learning and to make teaching easier and more effective. But since COVID, obviously, many of us have gone fully online. Some of us have now gone back to face-to-face, or there may be a blended or hybrid kind of teaching and learning situations where we use technology in sometimes in the classroom, but sometimes outside of the classroom, or maybe fully online. So ZenGengo supports all of those different contexts. So I actually myself, I'm a language teacher. I've taught languages, I've taught English in Japan for the past 15 years. So during that time, I've kind of listened to my colleagues and I've experienced these things myself. But these are some of the most common problems that I've noticed teaching languages and using technology. So the first category of problems is in creating activities. Teachers complain that it takes too long to create digital materials, and it can do. Obviously, some of the tools that you've seen today before my presentation make it really easy, but it can also be quite time consuming. There is a problem that you can't use paper-based materials online. So many teachers who've been teaching for 10, 15 or 20 years, they probably have a big repository of paper-based materials, and it's not really very easy to convert those into a digital format. And ZenGengo really helps with that process. The next category of problems is with administering activities. Teachers often have a problem of there being too many apps, okay? So obviously, yeah, we want a choice of different applications, but sometimes we just get confused because there's too many. So ZenGengo aims to simplify and teach, so you can teach all 4 skills in a single platform. Another problem you might encounter is that your school's LMS is not optimized for language teaching, especially during this COVID situation. A lot of kind of substandard school systems were suddenly thrown into the limelight, and teachers had to use them to try to teach languages, even though they're not really designed or optimized for that purpose. ZenGengo is optimized and designed just for language teachers. The final category of problems is with grading activities. Obviously, no teacher particularly likes to do lots of grading. We try to make that process more efficient and effective, and all of the ZenGengo activities can be auto-graded. So when you create an activity and you administer it to your students, they can actually, it will be graded by itself. And finally, the problem we have is how to give feedback online. So many teachers are used to giving feedback face-to-face, or they give feedback using pen and paper, but it's not obvious how to give feedback in an effective way online or in a hybrid or blended situation. So the solution I would like to propose is ZenGengo. ZenGengo, by the way, is a Japanese word, kind of based on the Japanese words. It can mean many languages. Zen can mean thousands and Gengo means languages. I like to think it's more like a relaxed way of teaching languages. So the Zen is kind of like Zen garden, and then Gengo is languages. So ZenGengo works in online, face-to-face and blended environments, as I've already mentioned. There are 10 assignment types across all 4 language skills. It can automatically grade all of the different assignment types. It's made by teachers for teachers. So as I said, I'm a teacher. I'm also the main developer of the platform. And so I have a unique insight and understanding of the problems that teachers face. It's one system for all your needs. It's super easy onboarding, and it has the latest the latest AI-powered web technologies. Okay, I'm going to go back to one system for all your needs. No system can cover all your needs as a language teacher. Okay, let me correct that. Okay, but it's one system for a lot of your needs, or many of your needs, or most of your needs, hopefully. Okay. So we have 10 assignment types. We have audio recording. So this allows the teacher to create an audio recording assignment, and the student to submit the assignment through their mobile phone or through their laptop, and it works completely within the web browser. The same for video recording. We have written reports, speaking drills. If I go back to the previous slide, you'll see an example of a speaking drill. The speaking drill basically uses AI technology to assess the comprehensibility of the learner's speech. Okay, so when the student clicks on the microphone button, the system will record their speech, and then it will give feedback, a check for comprehensible, and a question mark for not pronounced at all, or not pronounced in a comprehensible way. Okay. We have text gap fills. Every language teacher is familiar with text gap fills. We have text to test, which I'll explain in a minute, video gap fill, multi-choice, vocabulary tests, and content pages. And I'm going to cover each of these assignment types in a bit more detail now. So the audio recording assignment type allows learners to record audio responses to questions or prompts provided by the teacher. It can be used for things like giving self-introductions, short presentations, describing pictures, those kinds of things. Okay. Video recording is a similar thing, but we have all of this kind of extra linguistic information. We have, gesture, eye contact, facial expressions, etc. that as language teachers, we all know are important for conveying our meaning in an effective way. And the only way to capture that really is with video. So that's why we offer audio and video separately. Sometimes you don't need video and audio is sufficient, but other times you do need to have video. So we have both assignment types. Speaking drill, I've already kind of described a little bit, but basically, yeah, it uses AI-powered speech recognition to match learner speech to phrases provided by the teacher. And we have a variety of different ways of doing that. You can do it as a read aloud activity. You can do listen and repeat. You can do prompt and response even. So the computer says hello and the student says nice to meet you or something like that. A simple prompt and response type practice activity. Text gap fills, as I said, no language teacher worth their salt doesn't know about text gap fills. The advantage of ZenGengo text gap fills is that you can easily convert a reading gap fill to a listening gap fill. And we have some very naturalistic synthesized voices, which I'll hopefully have time to demonstrate in a bit, which allow you to instantly convert a reading gap fill to a listening gap fill. And you can choose from a variety of accents. You could also use your own voice. You can record your own voice and use that as a basis for a listening gap fill as well. That's fine. We also have a video gap fill assignment type. If you were here for Josh's presentation about LangDive, he showed you the way that you can use LangDive to study videos from YouTube and then to study the vocabulary in those videos. We do a similar kind of thing, but the teacher can choose the video first and then assign it to the student. LangDive is for autonomous and independent students who want to study by themselves. ZenGengo allows the teacher to curate the content a little bit more. We have multiple choice question quizzes, and we have a variety of question types. They could be like reordering activities or categorization activities. And again, one of the unique features of our system is that you can convert any reading question into a listening question just by clicking on a checkbox, and it will convert from reading to listening, sorry. Text to test. Sometimes I wish there weren't so many assignment types actually, but yeah, okay. We're sticking with 10. Text to test is a fast way for teachers to create reading, listening, vocabulary, and grammar tasks for their students. Okay, I'll demonstrate this a little bit. It's a little hard to explain, so I'll probably demonstrate it in a moment. Vocab test is a way to test word knowledge in a kind of decontextualized way. So if you're into your vocab learning, there's two basic ways to learn vocabulary. One is in context and one is out of context. So out of context is a kind of traditional way you might have a set of cardboard flashcards and then there'll be the word on one side and the definition on the other. That's decontextualized vocabulary learning, which you can do using the vocab test assignment type. For in-context vocabulary learning, we have text-to-test, which allows you to show the students the meanings of words within the actual text. Okay. We have a written report assignment type, which allows teachers to collect and grade written work from the students, obviously. And it also gives students feedback on grammar and spelling. And teachers can do things like disable copy and paste and add a timer to ensure that students are doing the work properly and not using machine translation or plagiarizing other sources. And finally, we have a content page, which allows the teacher to present a variety of multimedia. It could be a video, it could be an image or text or a PDF or anything like that. Okay, so it sounds great, but does it actually work? Okay, that's the important question. Now, we base ZenGengo on what we consider to be sound pedagogical principles. And these principles were propounded by Paul Nation back in 2007. And they consist of these 4 strands. The first is comprehensible input, and then there's meaning-focused output, and then there's form-focused instruction, and finally fluency development. And Nation and others argue that any decent language learning course should consist of these 4 strands. If any of these strands is missing, then the student is going to be missing out on a vital part of their language education. Another person who supports comprehensible input is Raine. I think he's the most famous proponent of comprehensible input. It basically means that language learning takes place in an incidental way through reading and listening. Okay, but input is not sufficient, of course. If you want to become a good speaker of a language, you also need to practice speaking and writing the language if you want to be able to produce it in a comprehensible way. So you also need to have meaning-focused output. So the assignment types I mentioned earlier, the audio recording, video recording, and written report, they're really good for getting students to produce meaning-focused output. We shouldn't neglect form-focused instruction. Some hardline communicative language teaching proponents might say we don't want to talk about or study grammar at all, but I think most other teachers would say that some kind of form-focused instruction is helpful and useful for their students. So that involves things like studying grammar, discourse, vocabulary, multi-word units, spelling, punctuation, etc. These can be done through the multiple choice quiz assignment type or the gap fill assignment types. Yeah. And finally, fluency development. Students need to be able to draw on their existing knowledge, their existing skills to kind of consolidate their abilities and to practice what they already know. And again, ZenGengo is great for creating activities that allow students to do this. How am I doing for time? So these are the kind of indication of which activities are good for which strand. These are kind of comprehensible input activities. These are meaning-focused output activities, fluency development, and form-focused instruction. Okay, another great thing that ZenGengo does is it really allows teachers to save a lot of time. This is a kind of primary goal of we had in making ZenGengo, is to allow teachers to create activities really quickly, but that it takes the student time to actually complete the activities. That's the ideal balance. You want to be able to create the activity quickly, but for students to spend time doing it and for it to be useful for their language learning goals. So this is a little tool we have called Lesson Wizard. And basically, I'm going to just show a video and explain what's happening. With Lesson Wizard, you first of all, you paste a text. You choose a text, and then you just paste the text into Lesson Wizard. Here's a text that I've found on Leonardo da Vinci, and this is just from Wikipedia. Then you choose the activities that you would like to create. So we've got vocabulary, listening, speaking, and multiple choice activities. Then you input a name for your lesson. And click OK. And then the Lesson Wizard will create the activities for you, okay? So the first activity here you can see is a text to test activity where students can listen and read the text at the same time. Okay, and then they have a vocabulary activity where they can check the meanings of the words in context. I mentioned this earlier on, the 2 ways to learn vocabulary: decontextualized and in context. Then the next section would be matching the definition to the word. And the final section would be to rearrange some words and phrases into the correct order. Okay, this is a listening gapful activity. You can see the student answering the questions here. And we have a speaking activity. The student will listen to the audio prompt and then speak the text. And we have a reordering activity. Okay, I think I'm probably out of time, almost. Okay, so I'm just going to conclude my presentation. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to actually do a live demo, but I'm going to conclude my presentation by inviting you to try ZenGengo for free for 30 days. Okay, so ZenGengo is a commercial platform, but you can try it for free for 30 days. And let me know if you have any questions. Just go to ZenGengo.com and you can sign up for a free trial and start today. And anyone who attends this presentation, I will also be able to give you a discount coupon. So let me know in the chat if you would like to do that. Okay, thank you very much.